We're here to do some matchup reviews ahead of week one. Hope you're all super excited for the return of football and, most importantly, the inevitable disappointment that comes from just the NFL and fantasy in general. We're going to go through all the matchups today, and we're going to look at the waiver wire and see who's available and who you should put on your teams. You're welcome. So first of all, we have myself versus Numbnuts. In terms of teams, main things to watch out for here. Connor, how many touchdowns will he score in the shootout versus KC? We have QBs, not very good on either side, to be honest. Maybe Rodgers gets it going in the dome. Tua could do anything. Probably going to drop a few bombs to Tyreek. Running back wise, yeah, Connor scoring lots of touchdowns. Penny starting the season with COVID. He's going to disappoint you, Num, and I'm not sorry. Wide receivers, yeah, there's nothing to talk about here in terms of my running backs. Wide receivers, Diggs, Debo are my only real hope for a win here. CeeDee Lamb carrying the can for the whole of the Dallas wide receiver corps. We'll see if he can get it done. I'm skeptical personally. Then McLaurin, Carson Wentz, really? That's just not going to happen, is it? Jerry Jeudy I quite like. Tight ends wise, Mark Andrews, yeah, he's a baller. He's going to get it done. Dawson Knox, I heard he's better than Travis Kelce. Just saying. Then defense wise, we have, kickers. Yes, we both have kickers. Well done. They're stupid. Let's get them out of the league. Defense, great matchup for New Orleans in Atlanta in the Dome. And Numbnuts played his hand a little bit. He's going to be trading and getting out of LA Chargers to improve his situation there. I'd probably give this one to Numbnuts if I had to pick. Connor should be solid, and that should be a shootout in that game. There's too many questions on my roster. There's the path to victory for me is really in Diggs and Debo. For Num, it's probably, I mean, Kenny Golladay, let's get him out of the league. But yeah, Connor scoring lots of touchdowns, wide receivers, and then Mark Andrews is going to absolutely dunk all over everyone. So yeah, Numbnuts probably going to take this one. We'll see how we go on the day. Next up, we have Matt versus Ed. So Ed has made a classic mistake here. He has his defense playing against his QB. He is going to struggle. If Tom Brady does well, his defense is going to score negative points. If the defense does well, Tom Brady's done shit. Not to mention, I hear Brady has upset the wife by playing football again. I'm sure Connor knows all about that in the upcoming season. We have, and then on the other side, Matt's got Lamar. Lamar is going to be an absolute baller this year, and a great matchup to start the week against New York. Running backs, Saquon is very strong. You've got Elijah Mitchell on the bench as well, going against Javonte, who I think is going to have an absolute insane season, and Lenny. His O-line has been battered, but he's basically all they have in Tampa Bay. There'll be a lot of volume for him there. I'd probably give the edge to Javonte and Lenny in that scenario. Wide receivers, AJ Brown, Pittman are both great. Tyreek is great. I think on balance, Matt's receivers are probably slightly better. We have Thielen, who should be good for a touchdown if he keeps some legs going, and then he's got two great receivers in Pittman and Brown versus Tyreek, who we don't know what it's going to look like, and Hollywood, who we don't really know. Again, they're both in new situations, and in general, wide receivers going to new situations struggle. So, I mean, AJ Brown will probably see a downtick as well. We have tight ends. Hockenson is just a guy. Here's the definition of the best just a guy. And then Kyle Pitts, who poised for a breakout, but with Marcus Mariota, it's just not going to happen, let's face facts. So, yep, two trash tight ends there. Then kickers, you both have kickers. And then defenses, we've already talked about. You both need to make changes there. Your benches are quite stacked, so you both need to make a cut or a couple of cuts to get under the cap. So we'll see who gets dropped onto the waiver wire. There's a few obvious cuts here. Like, I don't even know who this guy is. Gallup. Oh, he's out. Yeah, get him in your IR slot. Brilliant. That's all right. And then, yeah, we can just get rid of probably, to be honest, Matt, this is quite a tough choice, actually. I'd probably go with Devontae Parker. I think he's going to do the least for you. I don't, well, neither of these are tied to a good QB, so you can make a decision there. Yeah, overall, I'd probably favour Matt for this matchup once he gets Elijah Mitchell in. I think his QB and the running backs will balance out a bit more. And then wide receivers wise, we just don't know what Tyreek's going to do and what Marquise is going to do. And AJ Brown to a lesser extent as well. But with Pittman there, he should be great. I don't really rate Pitts, so that's kind of why I'm marking you down there, Ed. Yeah, Matt should get the win here. Next up, Mark versus Jim, Old Man River. We have on Jim's team, QBs wise, Patrick Mahomes, who lost a lot of targets and a lot of production from Tyreek. Jalen Hurts, who is going to go on a MVP type campaign this year, supposedly, if you believe the experts. They both have pretty good matchups and should be a shootout. I think overall, Hurts is going to give Mark the classic not do anything until 2 touchdowns in the fourth quarter type of display. Mahomes should be a bit more consistent, but he's lost a lot of targets, so it'll be interesting to see what he can do. Running backs wise, you have to give the edge here to Mark. McCaffrey, if he stays healthy, and Mixon are a great combo, probably the best combo in the league. I'd put that up there. There's only really Mikey D who comes close. Kamara, he's looked like he's dodged a suspension. I think yeah, he's going to be solid this year. He'll get a lot of volume in New Orleans, but yeah, it goes to Mark here in terms of the strength. Then wide receivers wise, Mike Evans, last man standing in Tampa Bay if Godwin's out, which I think he is. So yeah, he's a great play. A-Rob as well, the Stafford elbow is a bit of a concern, but he should be fine. He should get a lot of targets. On the other side, Waddle, apparently he's been injured, but if he plays, he's going to get a lot of targets, which is just 3 points in our half PPR. DK Metcalf, he only needs one catch from Geno. 80-yard touchdown is what it'll be, and he'll be a fine play. He's just going to be a bit swingy week on week. Sutton, great play, great pickup. I think he's going to have a breakout year, 2 years removed from his ACL injury. So yeah, I'd probably give the edge here though to Mark with Mike Evans. I think Amari Cooper, that's a recipe for disaster. Probably need to move on from him. Titans wise, yep, you both have tight ends. Good job. Kickers, you both have kickers. Justin Tucker, possibly a difference maker. We will see. And then defenses, your defenses are fine. I like the San Fran matchup against Chicago. In terms of your benches, Jim, you probably need to take out Brees and put in for week 1. Put in someone a little bit more trustworthy. So get someone. AJ Dillon should get a lot of play. Ramondre Stevenson is a good week 1 play. And yeah, you've got a lot of wide receivers here as well. You're going to drop some talent onto the wire, I think. But yeah, I think you can probably have Brees on your bench to start until you see what he does. On Mark's side, you're probably starting your best lineup. I would take the gamble and put McKenzie in for week 1 and see what you can do. Especially check if Crowder's out. If Crowder's out, get him fired in there. And yeah, see what happens. Another play is possibly put in Michael Thomas over Amari Cooper. I think Jameis, he either throws a load of touchdowns or a load of yards, and either one of them is good for receivers. So consider putting him in over Amari Cooper as well. Overall, though, Mark's got to take this matchup. Got that running back heat and Mike Evans as well. Plus, we're going to see the breakout from Jalen. So yeah, Mark going to take the win there, I think. Kinch versus Connor. Josh Allen is elite. He's going to be the best QB on the year, I think, again. And against the Rams, it's a bit of a tough matchup, but he should use his mobility to get things done. Dak, I worry about Dallas this year. They don't really have a true number 1 receiver. We haven't seen CD do it yet, so maybe he'll do it. And then O-line problems as well. Maybe his ankle's still fucked, but yeah, overall, Josh Allen definitely the better QB there. Running backs, Swift and Chubb are good. Swift should get a lot of catches, but you can't get away from the fact that Detroit's going to be a bad team. And in Cleveland, you can't get away from the fact that Kareem Hunt's still there, and he really caps what Chubb can do. Like, it's just criminal how little they use him, to be honest. If Jacoby Brissett can lead them to an early lead, get up in the game, then yes, he will be fantastic. I doubt that happens consistently throughout the year, but you got a good opportunity with Carolina. CMC might punish you though. On the other side, Derrick Henry is going to kick the Giants all up and down the field on Sunday. That's going to be a joy to watch if you're the Derrick Henry owner. Cam Akers coming off the Achilles injury. Tough matchup against Buffalo, to be honest. I'd consider benching him. We'll see what's on your bench in a minute. Then I would probably give it's kind of tight here. I'd probably give, as it stands, a slight edge to the Derrick Henry side, because can you honestly see him not running for 150 yards and 3 touchdowns? Yeah, that's what I see. And then here we're really relying on touchdowns and volume to get things done on both these sides. Swift, injury concern. Chubb, volume concern if they go down early. So yeah, bit of a worry. Receivers, Mike Williams, poised for a breakout if you believe all the experts. Josh Herbert is great, and he will serve up a lot of passes around the field. So yeah, that's a good pickup. Hunter Renfrow, I love that he's in your lineup as well. He's going to get a lot of targets from Derek. Even though there's Adams and Waller there, he just works underneath. He's gonna get the catches. Brandon Cooks as well. He's just the only guy in Houston, isn't he? He always does well. On the other side, Higgins, London, and Smith. I like Higgins. The questionable tag's been on him for a while. Drake London, Marcus Mariota. Can you honestly see Drake London and Kyle Pitts and Cordarrelle having a good season all at the same time with Marcus Mariota at the helm? Because I can't. So I would probably have Drake London on the bench to start the year and see what that's going to look like in terms of what Mariota can actually do. Smith's fine though. With AJ Brown there, he actually should have a great season. Tight ends, this is probably... in terms of who's got a better lineup there, it is very, very even. I'd probably again give a slight edge to Connor, I think, there if Higgins plays. Then tight ends wise, Freiermuth should be better than Gesicki, but they're both tight ends. They're both kind of irrelevant. Kickers, yep, you both have kickers. Good job. And then defense. So defense wise, it's quite interesting this one, where you've got your defenses are the opposite of the QBs that are playing. It's kind of swingy if you do that. So like if your QB does well, it's kind of a double hit, because it means their defense is going to do poorly. And you might consider switching. There's some good options on the Y, which I'll go through later. Bench wise, so we wanted to look at potential starters over what you have. I'd take Drake London out and put Jarvis Landry in for week 1. I think he's a safer pair of hands, and if Godwin's actually healthy and is going to play, I would slip him in just for the upside play, to be honest. On the other side, yeah, I think you're pretty solid there. You could probably go with Damian Harris week 1 over Cam Akers. I would prefer to take Damian Harris, because if he gets 15 touches, it's going to be in the red zone as well, and he's more likely to score a touchdown. So I think he's a safer play than your Cam Akers. Overall, I give a slight edge to Kinch on this one, mainly because of Henry and Josh Allen. I think with a few changes and possibly picking up a good defense, though, this could very easily swing to Connor. Very close one, but yeah, I'll give it the edge slightly to Kinch. Mikey D next versus Damien. So QBs, we have Kyler versus Russell. I like Russell Wilson over Kyler Murray here. You can't trust a guy that needs a study clause in his contract, can you really? So, and Kyler Murray, he's lost D-Hop for the year, well, for the first 6 weeks anyway. Wilson has got the best receivers around him that he's had probably ever, and the coaching staff are going to want to cut him loose and let him really sling it about and prove that he's worth the money. So yeah, I think it's quite even. Kyler Murray's always a risk to run stuff in, playing at home as well, possibly in a shootout versus KC. But we'll see if he has the tools to actually make it a game there. But yeah, I think it's quite even. Probably a slight edge to Mike there. Running backs wise, Eckler and Cook is challenging Mark with CMC and Mixon for best running back duo. I think Eckler, it was a huge mistake by myself to trade him away. Obviously, he gets so many catches and so much play. And Cook as well. I actually gave Dalvin Cook to Mike. So yeah, you're welcome. And I also gave Davante Adams to Mike. So I gave most of Mike's current team came from me. you're welcome. But it still didn't win you a championship, did it, mate? I actually won the championship last year, so there you go. Anyway, yeah, Eckler and Cook, very, very good, both with good matchups as well. Cook's probably going to get I don't know what he did against Green Bay last year, but it was disgusting. And then Eckler as well in Las Vegas, he is going to get a lot of catches and a lot of work. And the rookies they brought in LA haven't been very good either, so Eckler should get a lot of play there. On the other side, Najee, they've been talking about reducing his workload because of the foot injury. And then Josh Jacobs, he is primed to be cut and replaced by the new coaching staff there. So a very big edge going to Mike here. Receivers wise, Devontae Adams in a new situation, Gabe Davis and Juju versus Allen Moore, and then you're obviously going to swap D-Hop out. I think Adams, again, new situation is tough for him. Juju, receivers going to new teams don't tend to do well straight away. So I think these will be, if you're ever going to beat this, it's going to be now. And Gabe Davis, he's poised for a breakout, so he should be pretty good. Then on the other side, Keenan Allen, he's coming into the swan song of his career now, but he should still, he's still probably going to get like 13, 14 catches or whatever it is, stupid amounts of targets that he gets. Hopefully he stays healthy and just reels them in and just gets the job done. Same with DJ Moore, there's just high volume guys, it's good plays there. You'll have to put in someone from your bench, but we'll go through that in a minute. I'd give a slight edge to Damien here in terms of wide receivers, but it's tight. It just depends how the new guys do, to be honest. Tight ends, you both have them. Zach Ertz, I quite like the play this week and leaving him in. Like normally I'd probably say change it because he's been injured a bit and it's a tough situation. But Kyler Murray has a chance of throwing to Zach Ertz, and that would really help you out. His QB gets 4, you get 6. That's a win-win there, and I think he's quite likely to catch him. On the other side, Darren Waller. I don't know if you'll see the volume, but again, it's worth a play because you might take away from Devontae Adams. That might be a good swing for you. But yeah, overall, they're both tight ends. I don't really care. Kickers, you both have them. Tyler Bass, theoretically on a better team. Well, yeah, it's kind of irrelevant. And then Buffalo against LA, I'd probably swap that out week 1. I don't think it's very smart to have to go against the Rams in opening week. But yeah, so in terms of who you're putting into your lineup, honestly, I would probably consider putting MVS in over Juju. Juju's got a dodgy knee. I don't really trust him. But yeah, I quite like MVS. I think he's a burner. I think he'll get the deep passes. Yeah, he's got spades for hands, but he only needs to catch one. Then on the other side, Damien, you need to put someone in, and it's probably yours. I mean, Rondale Moore's okay. You could get the stack. Rondale Moore for D-Hop and hope you get the Kyler Murray stack and points there. They kind of engineer touches for him, so he's probably your best choice. Kadarius Toney, if he plays as well, could possibly score a deep one. And Josh Palmer's also pretty good, but I think Rondale Moore's your best play there. Overall, running backs, got to point this towards Mikey D, thanks to Eckler and Cook. So yeah, Mikey D to win that one. Last up, we have Skelton against Nick, who tried to sneakily change his team name, but obviously I'm not going to let that get past me. Herbert is going to be the second best QB in the league this year. Joe Burrow, if you get playoff Joe Burrow and you get end of season Joe Burrow, he's going to be great, but don't tie yourself to this, man. He's probably going to disappoint you more than he makes you happy, is what I would say. Overall, clearly Skell has a better QB in this scenario. Then running backs, we have Aaron Jones and Clyde against Taylor and Sanders. You've actually put him in. Amazing. Taylor is going to give the edge slightly to Nick. Jones and Clyde both have downsides that have come through in the off-season. So Jones have a lot more split with AJ Dillon. And Clyde is probably on a very short leash in KC. There's a lot of good rookies behind him. And Rojo as well, who's just waiting in the wings. I think in general, well, he's either gonna really pop off or he's gonna bust. I think that's your only two real options there. Then in terms of wide receivers, Jamar Chase, Amon-Ra, and Tyler Lockett, and on either side we have Jefferson, Kupp, and Deontay. The edge definitely goes to Nick here again. Jefferson and Kupp will both be competing for wide receiver 1. On the other side, you've got Jamar, who will also be competing for wide receiver 1. I really like this as well because if he sticks with Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase is probably going to be the main guy. If Jamar Chase does well, Joe Burrow will do well, but Jamar Chase will do better because he's most likely to catch touchdowns and he's going to get the yardage as well. So yeah, I think that's a fine play this week. Well, we've been over what you should have done with Michael Pittman instead of Herbert. Like, you could have picked up a guy later on like Russell Wilson and just had the same predicted points. So you missed out there, but we've been over that. That's fine. I think Nick's got the edge in terms of wide receivers, tight ends. Travis Kelce is the man. He's going to get a lot of service from Patrick Mahomes because he's the only one there. I mean, Cameron Brate is a play. It's a tight end. It doesn't really matter. See what you're looking for. If you haven't got Kelce or Andrews, you're really looking for a touchdown to make a tight end worthwhile. And someone in Tampa Bay's got, if it's not Mike Evans, it's probably going to be the tight end. And Brate is one of the tight ends. So, yeah, that's fine. Defense, Nick's got his defense playing against his QB, so he needs to change that. And you both need to pick up a kicker as well. So there's some changes on your bench that need to happen. If I was Nick, you've got to take J.K. Dobbins out. If you get news pre-game, keep your ear to the ground on that one. If you get news pre-game that he's going to play, put him in. Like the difference between what Sanders will give you and what Dobbins will give you is really a toss-up week 1. They're both going into it injured. They're both going into it with problems. I think the better running team is going to be Baltimore. So if he's suiting up and it sounds like he'll play, just put him in. Your points are going to come from Taylor, Jefferson, and Kupp, and Kelce. So yeah, I wouldn't worry about your running back 2. You could just may as well experiment with it until you figure it out. You've also you'll need to cut some people to get your roster down to size. You're probably going to have to say goodbye to Goddard and possibly like Algier and Herbert as well. Skell. You also need to make some cuts to get your roster down to size. So I think for you, Derek Carr is an easy cut, and I would also get rid of Sammy Watkins. I don't think he's going to give you anything worthwhile in Green Bay. I think you got a good stable of receivers there, but it's really gonna hamstring you all year having them on your bench and not being able to ever move on from them. Like, you won't be able to make any waiver wire pickups because you'll want to keep your guys, and I don't think that you'll need one of them to break out in order to trade them. So yeah, watch out for that. If one of them has a good game, just take whatever you can get and free up some bench space. Like if Brandon Ayuk, for example, has 100 yards and a touchdown, or 80 yards and a touchdown this week, just ship him. Tell him someone for 4, and take the value. Yeah, he might even go off even more, but he's not breaking your starting lineup, and he's just taking up bench space. You need to pivot into young running backs to try and fix the holes in your roster. But anyway, yeah, so I would give the edge to Nick there purely based on Taylor, Jefferson, Kupp, and Kelce. They're very, very strong. The Bunglers should get their first win of the season. So to recap, we probably have Numbnuts winning against me. We have Matt winning against Ed. Mark winning against Jim. I gave Kinch the slight edge in this one. Mikey D a slight edge here. And then also we have, in the last one, Nick with the slight edge as well. My upset pick of the week is Connor beating Kinch. I think Connor can do it. He's probably got the closest chance. Or obviously myself beating Numbnuts, but let's face it, I'm going to do that, aren't I? So, yeah, those are your matchups for the week. Best of luck, everyone, as we go into week 1. And your last minute fixes. What's available on our waiver wire? So QBs. If you need a QB like me, it's panned out okay. Matt Stafford is available if you want him. Overall, there's no one else really worth picking up here. Let's just see how it plays out as we go. Running back, there's not really much to go at here. Boston Scott did have some value, but that kind of dropped off with the pickup of Trey Sermon. You've got Mike Davis, who might do something for you. Then William, again, most of these are just backups in case someone else goes down. I like Amir Abdullah. He could get a lot of catches and a lot of work in Las Vegas. The new coach there's a Patriots guy, so they might mix things up. Then the other one was Pacheco. Pucheco, however you say his name. He is possibly the guy in KC. He's worth stashing if you have the room, or if you have a Zamir White to drop like I do. Just to prove to you guys what's going on. $1 Zamir White. There you go. My bid's in. All right. But yeah, not much else worth going at here. Then in terms of wide receivers, Devin Duvernay. I wouldn't really trust the Baltimore pass attack if you've got Rashad Bateman there, and you've got Mark Andrews, and you've got Isaiah Likely as well. So yeah, we'll come to Likely in the tight ends part, but I think he's worth a pick up. He'll probably get used around the field. Then yeah, there's not really much else to talk about in here. Pierce was good as a rookie for Indy, and then after that you're just looking at guys who might pop off. So there's no real good rookies to look at. We're better off waiting and seeing who actually does good out of this bunch before we start picking people up. So yeah, but one that might be possibly worth a stash again if your bench is shit and you got room. Pierce, he's pretty good. Tight ends wise, Likely. If someone picked him up, that's going to be pretty awkward. But I'm fairly certain he was available. Likely, yeah. So he is down there. So his preseason work was absolutely ridiculous. If you've got the room, smash him on and see if they use him like a wide receiver instead of a tight end, or if they use him as a tight end and split Mark Andrews out, he could have sneaky value. But yeah, he was absolutely insane in the preseason. Had some crazy box scores and stat lines. He's worth a look. But yeah, the rest of them, Albert O is okay. Or Hooper, so potentially could do something with Ryan Tannehill. They do like to pass, so yeah. But again, most of us have tight ends in already. It's kind of irrelevant. Scale, you're probably the only one who's looking for an upgrade. I would possibly look at Albert O. I would also look at Hunter Henry. He's quite likely to catch a touchdown. And then, yeah, outside of that, it's just you're just picking whoever might get a touchdown. So Hayden Hurst in Cincinnati, he might get one. Shit, Evan Engram might get one. Yeah, take a gamble. Mo Ali Cox, he might. Pick someone who's playing against shit teams. Like Mo Ali Cox against Houston. That's quite likely to see a touchdown. Yeah, but tight end, who cares? Kickers, I don't really give a shit about kickers. Neither do you. They're going out of the league next year, let's face it. Defenses, here's where the spice is. Baltimore Ravens are just sat there with the Jets as the first matchup. That is a great matchup. That's like 3 points, guys. Broncos against Seattle. Geno Smith. Do you really think Geno Smith's going to do anything? Indy against Houston. Davis Mills and Brandon Cooks. Again, there's just a lot of points there. Titans against New York. They look great. Cincinnati Bengals got a high predicted against Pittsburgh. I think Mitch Trubisky is a bottle job and will give away a lot of points. You also have Miami against New England. Miami defense is okay, and Mac Jones has not looked good in the preseason, so he might be worth a pick up. Carolina against Cleveland, so again Jacoby Brissett, there's probably some good points there. Philadelphia against Detroit, so I think Philly, this is kind of a good play. Philly are going to get up and score quickly, and Detroit are just a bad team. So Sack City against Jared Goff there, I think that's probably a good play. Then you're getting down into kind of reaches after that. I don't think there's anyone really worth picking up unless they're playing against a rookie out there. Which there's not really. But yeah, there's a lot of you that need defenses or defensive improvements. There's a lot of options out here, especially these top four. They're all very good, and then to a lesser extent, you've got like your Cleveland Browns and your Pittsburgh, your Cincinnati defense as well. So yeah, enjoy bidding on that. You should all be stacking up your points as you need it. If you want my hot tip, the Browns, after this week, they play the Jets next week, and then they play Pittsburgh, who might also be trash, and then they play Atlanta. So if you're wanting to make a big bid and you just want to not worry about a defense for like 4 weeks, these are your guys. Get Cleveland in, and then just put them in, and don't worry about them for as long as you can. Yeah, that would be my pick on who I would bid on. Outside of that, yeah, Baltimore. They, you know, it's okay until week 4. But yeah, those are your waiver wire targets. That's pretty much it. We'll have a look how everyone does after week 1. Sorry it went on a bit long, and if you stayed with it, enjoy my sneaky waiver wire picks. Fuck you all. I'm gonna win and be champion again.